No one in my immediate family owns a business. So obviously when I started out this idea of making my music as a business and completely do this full time, like everyone else, even I was scared. I was scared so much that I thought I was going to fail. I thought I'll be judged upon. I thought no one will like whatever work I do. And there's so many other questions that were on my mind. But thank God I started, because that's the best decision I've ever taken. I'm loving the work that I do and I'm having a good earnings through that, and I'm just happy doing this work. And if you're wondering how to really grow a music business at this point, then I am going to help you out with that. I'm going to share a couple of things that I've learned growing a business, couple of mistakes I did, couple of things that I did correctly, and hopefully something is going to help you out. My name is Jane and I go by the name Flow of Music on all social medias. I put out a lot of music production related videos. So if that's something that you like, then you're gonna hit the subscribe button right now. So let's begin. Back in 2020, 2021, when the lockdown hit, that was actually the time when I really started to learn production. I actually did a lot of experimentation before finding out that I really like mixing and mastering. I was trying to find internships in studios and I was trying to be a recording engineer. I was trying to be good at composing. I was trying to be a good programmer. I was trying to learn an instrument and teach it to people. And there are so many things that I kept trying. Mixing and mastering also was something that I tried. But through all those trying and failing processes, one thing that I was sure that I really liked was mixing and mastering. I liked organizing tracks. I liked making them gel well together. I liked balancing it. I liked experimenting with plugins. And for some, it might be like it's a job where you have to sit in front of the computer and keep playing the tracks over and over again to find out the mistake and rectify it. And some may find it boring. Some may find it interesting, but to me, that's the most fun part, I thought, in the whole production process. So it took me quite a while to actually streamline my business towards mixing and mastering. I started to learn a lot of things about mixing and mastering. I started going through a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of courses. I started to learn from my fellow producers whom I knew and from other artists. And I started to understand how mixing and mastering everything works. The first DAW that I tried out was Ableton, and slowly I transitioned to Logic Pro. In between, I tried a lot of other DAWs also, like Studio One and Pro Tools as well. But then this was a DAW that was very easy for me. It was very user-friendly and I really liked working with this DAW, so I just stuck with it. What I started doing was, as I learned some concept in mixing and mastering, I started putting a video on that. So on either my YouTube channel or on a short form on my Instagram channel. That honestly helped me. As I learned, I started making videos and I was explaining and putting it out, which helped me understand that concept even more than I did earlier. So I was completely focused on what I really liked and I started learning a lot through that. So that's what I would suggest as my first important topic. Leverage your strength. What are you good at? Is it composing? Is it teaching an instrument? Is it teaching music theory? So it could be anything. It could be a session guitarist. It could be anything that you might think of. But if you are 100% confident that this is what you really like doing, then you're going to put all your attention and focus on that. Keep learning, keep putting your works out, and that is gonna build the foundation for you. So I'll tell you what happened because of me focusing only on mixing and mastering. I started getting a lot of students who wanted to learn mixing and mastering from me. And honestly, when I started putting YouTube videos, I never thought I'm going to teach students on a one-on-one basis or as group classes, nothing. I never thought of it in that way at all. It was more of a learning process for me, as well as to put a portfolio outside for people to know who I am, know what I do and all that. But when I started getting students who want to learn this from me, that was a huge game changer. So actually right now, majority of my income is through students who are learning production from me. The second thing that happened because of that is monetization of my YouTube channel. I have obviously, joked about this when I was little, that I want to become a YouTuber and all that, but I never thought I'll actually become one when I grow up. But to have my YouTube channel monetized was something very, very huge for me. And that honestly again happened because of the consistency, because I just kept showing up, I just kept learning, I just kept putting videos, even on days when I felt like it was difficult to film. And back at that time, I didn't have all these equipments that I have right now. but I still somehow just went through it. And I really thank God because I was able to do everything on a consistent level. I just skipped only few weeks. I just kept uploading, I just kept learning, and as a result, my YouTube got monetized. So that's another source of income that started happening for me. Now let's move on to the next point. I'm talking about music all this while, but then there's another important thing that we need to understand. If you want to grow a business, you're going to step out of your comfort zone and you're going to learn a lot of things that you probably don't know at all. Like for example, when I started, focusing on music predominantly, I had to learn a lot of skills apart from making music and post-production work. Like for example, I had to learn advertising for that matter. I had to learn marketing. I had to learn to handle my finances because I have no idea how much I'm going to get the next month, for example. So how am I going to save? In what ways am I going to earn for the next month? And apart from that, video editing was a huge thing that I had to learn. That's not part of music. But then I had to properly learn to do proper cuts on my YouTube videos, proper edits on my Instagram reels so that it will reach more people and in turn I'll get more jobs. If I had decided to not learn all these things, I would probably have to outsource it to everybody, which in turn I have to pay money to them. But at the starting of my business, I was not getting anything. So how am I going to pay somebody else if I myself am not getting anything? It's a one-man army, okay? You will have to step out of your comfort zone and you're going to learn a lot of things apart from the main skill that you are focused on. But that is good, okay? You're going to do the back end work and you're going to put your stuff out. And even now, I work alone. I don't have anyone working with me. But my work has become a lot more easier. My equipments have upgraded a little bit. I've got a nice running website. I've got a portfolio. I have a lot of things that I have invested on for my business. All these things didn't happen overnight. For a very long time, I was using all the free stuff. Like for example, I'll tell you this. When I used to teach my students through Zoom, I didn't subscribe to the premium version of Zoom. I had only that 40-minute version, the free version of Zoom, but then my classes were for 1 hour. So what I had to do, unfortunately, was to literally stop in between the class, make the student join the link again and continue my classes. Now that's going to be a very difficult process for the student and for me also. I used to record the lessons and send it to the student, but I used to send it as 2 parts because I have to cut the video because I only had the free version. So I didn't invest anything business-wise until I knew that I was getting that money, which can be, sent for a subscription basis. And it took a while. And it took a while to learn all these other things like marketing and about, releasing stuff on Spotify, getting clients and all that. But it happened eventually, okay? So the most important thing is to get out of your comfort zone, learn things that are needed to develop your business, okay? What is needed? Just think about that, write them down and slowly start to learn that. You need to improve in that. Now, if my content is really good, but if the way I present it or if the way the video is done is really bad, I don't think I'll have a lot of students or I don't think I'll have a lot of people visiting my website. So the way you present your content to your audience is going to matter a lot. Step out of your comfort zone and work on all the other skills needed to run your business. Another important thing that has helped me to get a lot of clients, changing the perspective as client-oriented work rather than, my perspective-oriented work. Let me explain this. Now, I have learned mixing and mastering for a while now and I've been doing a lot of tracks. So if I get a client and they tell me that they want their song to sound in a certain way, I am going to make that happen, but I'm also going to do other stuff that I think is going to benefit the song. Because I know the post-production work, I know technically what's going to work, what's not going to work, how much I need to boost volume, how much I have to cut frequencies, what instrument is going to work. So if they send me like 5 to 6 tracks that are all going to occupy the low frequency area, I will mute a couple of those tracks if it is going to clash with everything else. So when I do all those things and I send it to the client, if the client feels like, no, I need this differently, you've done it differently, so I need it in another manner, you're gonna probably explain why you did it in a certain way, but in the end, your client is the winner, okay? It's their song and they have a vision for that song. So although I am technically better than the client because probably they are just a singer or probably they're just an instrumentalist and they don't know a lot of technical concepts, still you're gonna make it work according to what the client needs. I hope I'm making sense. Just because I think, okay, I cannot have so much of instruments in the low frequency and I decide to not make the change that the client tells me to do, the client doesn't like my work, that's it. So they're not gonna come back to me for another song. They're gonna give me a bad review. Word of mouth is not gonna happen and it's a loss for me, right? So this is what I do. I do always a work pertaining to what the client wants. And I obviously give my suggestion. So if something is wrong or if I feel like something is not going to work, I'm going to put that in front of the client and I'm going to tell them that this is not going to work because of so and so reasons. There are some technical concepts because of which it won't work. And if they still insist, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to do what you're saying and I'm going to send it to you. And you can choose which one you want. Whichever option they like, they're going to choose it. So client-oriented work is important. Your client is your winner. It's not just about mixing and mastering. Let's say I'm a session guitarist and I'm going to go and play guitar for someone else's track. I'm going to put in my own riffs and my own solos for that and I'm going to show it to them, of course. But if they feel like they want their sound to, match whatever they programmed and that's the only thing they need, even after you giving all those opinions and all that, then you're going to stick to the client's work. And the most important point, which I've kept it in the end, is to upskill your work. Now, I have been doing mixing and mastering consistently for the past around 3 years or so. And just because I've done it 3 years doesn't mean I know everything. There's so much that I'm yet to understand, that I'm yet to learn. So constantly upskilling is very, very important, not just in music, in any job that you take. So I am continuing to learn through courses. And like I said, through Sound Gym, and I think I've told it in another video as well, I'm learning this course through Sound Gym and I found out about this YouTube channel called as House of Kush. I mean, I've learned so much through that YouTube video. It's a little bit advanced, I would say, but then there's so much of other perspective that you can learn from the channel. And honestly, it gave me a lot more ways to think about my mix. It gave me a lot more ideas as to, think about how to balance my mix. And then I realized the way I'm balancing is not even that great. When I tried out some of the exercises that I found on YouTube, it actually drastically changed the way my mixes sound. You are going to learn something new every single day. The point with mixing and mastering specifically, it's a very subjective topic. So a change that I like may not be a change that you're going to like. So what are the different perspectives by which you're going to do? In that way, you just need to understand what are the ways by which you're going to have options to balance or to mix or to, use a plugin and all that. When you know all these different perspectives, you can choose whatever you want that you like. Constantly keep upskilling, constantly keep learning, keep practicing. So for mixing and mastering, I have to do ear training so that I understand all the nuances of frequencies and about different problematic frequencies, stuff about dynamics and all that. So I have to constantly ear train. So I hope these points were useful for you. These are the things that really helped me grow my business. And I'm still learning and I'm still finding my way through it and all that. Thank you so much for watching. Keep making music and I'll see you guys in another video.